Okay, it's me, John the Band Guy again. Today's fun video is on the Carver Cascade Carver water heater on my Talbot Express. Again, this new project I'm working on. There was an issue when I turned the water on. I attempted to set the thing up and I turned the water and the water pump on. Water started gushing out of the side of the van, and which suggested there was something wrong with the boiler or the tank. And so I've taken it apart and I found out what the problem is. So rather than keep you in suspense, I'll show you the issue and what I'm doing about it and what I found when I took the whole thing apart. If you're not acquainted or never taken these things apart, I'll quickly go through some of the procedure. You'll get the idea as I'm going along. So bear with me and I'll take you through the process, best I can anyway. Nice sunny day again. And this is the Talbot. Right, that's the bit I've taken off, which most of you will be acquainted with. Okay, it came out of here. Once you take that off, you'll see the back of the boiler here, which I'll show you later, and the connections you've got to get the whole tank out. The tank is in here, set in this polystyrene insulating cover, which is the Talbot answer to insulation. Down here, you'll have to disconnect that. That's the where the gas comes in. I think that's probably you can disconnect it at the back of the. Or is it the front of the tank? Anyway, you can disconnect it from the tank itself, the unit itself, but I found it easier just to disconnect there, and you can do it from here. You can also, the cold water pipe and the hot water pipe, just Jubilee clips, use a screwdriver nut to help to work it off. These are the electrical connections, which feed to the back. I think they do anyway. Oh yeah, now those are the electrical connections which feed, I'll show you where they feed, and that also is an electrical connection which plugs in to a circuit board which controls a few things, but it'll be more obvious when I actually show you. So I'll take you around the back now. I moved everything, I treated myself, I don't like working in the cold, it's a bit chilly here. Oh, that's what happened to that. Those two. Yes. Right. We go through into the back and I'll show you what I've done and what I've had to replace. Here we are. Right, we're on the patio. I've set everything up. Need a handy bit of space for this, rather working, and it's nice and warm. Right. This is what you see when you take off. It's that way up. You'll see a plate and the burner and everything else here. This is the old one. I'll take those there. And this is the boiler. Now through the boiler there's a long tube supporting mount, if you like, which bolts into the bottom of the boiler, goes through there. So what I needed, it's broken off there. So this is the second-hand one I've picked up, and it's actually much better screwed in there. Right, okay, so far so good. So that's good. So what I've got to do is replace everything, and while I was doing it I found the gas bit of the whole system. The gas boiler was a bit dodgy as well, so I'm replacing all that. So let's have a look at some of the systems involved here and see if we can work through some of the functioning bits. So here we have cold entry. This is the bottom of the boiler, that's the cold entry, and that's the hot exit. So water comes in there, goes along that little pipe, and then fills the boiler, which is attached here and bolted on at the top. On a previous video when I did this I found this was actually all completely lined up and blocked. What happens is you have a non-return valve here which actually freezes up in the winter, so if you don't drain things properly there is you can drain this, so it should be drained in the winter. If you don't drain it, you can actually damage the valve, or it can shut itself off, and then you'll find you won't get any water going into your boiler. That's a common problem. Anyway, when I looked at this, it wasn't that in that particular situation. It was that pipe itself can get sealed up with lime. So use acid, vinegar, anything to get rid of it. Right, now on this you've got a rubber ring. I've got to find out how that's placed actually. Well, I think it might, I'm not sure. You've got to get it on the outside one and then just slip the thing in. I have to experiment with that, I'm not sure. Right, here we have the new boiler. So let's do the back of the boiler first and look at the electrics at the back of the boiler. Now these are the electrics which actually control. Oh, there's Ambro. Ooh. This is the Robomo. Works very well. I sometimes think it senses them here, and it comes and finds me. Anyway, this is the back of the boiler, and when you get to the back of the boiler first, what you will see is this unit attached to the back of the boiler. There's only like three little, I think there's 6mm head bolts which screw into the unit, and when you open it, you'll find a wiring setup which is wired into this, which itself fits in there. Now this is the immersion bit, this long tube, strange tube looking thing. And this is going to, have they got seal? Oh, there's a seal on the bottom. See that round seal on the bottom? That stops the thing leaking. Okay, so make sure that seal's okay. Now, to give you a clue on what these all things work, if you look at the diagram, it's quite instructive actually. So you've got the over temp switch, which is that little red button there, which actually, so when this is on, when you press to reset, you're pressing that little button there. So that's a trip reset over temp switch. That thing must be the thermostat there. It's all connected. And these all linked in series to the immersion heater, and the immersion is that long tube thing I showed you, which all goes back to here and connected to this connector here. I think that's okay. I'll find out how that all works when I put it all back together. Okay. So that tube obviously goes through here, and those two will hold it on. Oh, there's a washer on there. So find all these extra washers. Okay. So that's the back. Now, what about the front? Okay, let's look at our new casing, and I'll show you how the front goes. So, if we look here, I've taken this out, and the way to get it out is from, how did I do it? No, that all fits in. That's it, that's how it goes in. So that's the gas jet. See it there? That goes there, little hole in it. You can take the gas jet off and blow it out. It's probably a good thing to do. These two screws hold this whole thing together like that. And this bit here, see that bit? The flange there, again another rubber seal. That actually goes into the back there. And of course, and that's where the gas comes in. So don't bother taking this bolt off. I did try initially to take the bolt off, and it's a pig to get off, but there's no need to. All that's doing is holding in that bar, that hollow bar, which will take the gas pipe. Okay, so, and this is the circuit board, which is all involved with controlling the spark. Right, now, so this will slide through there. So once you've undone things, you'll be able to pull this whole thing out. Once you've undone these two, this whole thing will just slide out. And then the other screws you find. Now this is the actual little boiler, which you can see is falling apart in here. Ooh. I think that should be suspended in there like that. And that should go over there. So the gas jet should go in there. You get the idea. So this creates the spark. You get the spark ignition, and I think this bar must be a sensor for the flame to tell everything to send a minute current to keep valves open so the gas keeps flowing. If there isn't any flame, the gas will cut out. It's like a safety thing in all these units. But yeah, if you take that lid off, it's a circuit board inside it. I'm hoping the circuit board's okay. I think it was working until I started faffing about. That's what I was messing around. So what have we got? Well, that's it so far. So all I've got to do is reconnect and put everything back. That's all I can think of. It's all relatively straightforward, and just taking one step at a time, and then hopefully everything will go back in one piece. And obviously you get the gas connections done properly. If you've got a gas detector, it's quite good to check afterwards, and I suppose that should officially be done by an experienced person. So that's it. So those are all the bits, and I'll let you know how I get on. Hopefully it'll all go back together and we'll have a new boiler, a boiler fitted that will actually work. Okay. Oh look, Ambro's gone back to bed. Little Ambro charging up. Anybody interested? They're about £1,200, and to run them every day, 7 days a week, I don't tend to run it over the winter. It works at costing you between £12 and £24 a year. Big lithium batteries in it, they just charge up. So a great way, a lazy man's way of doing the lawn. But you still have to do the edges, you have to trim the edges, just remember that. But it's quite therapeutic, especially if you've got one of these battery strimmers, which are so light and easy to use that it's quite therapeutic actually, just going around doing the edges. Quite nice to do. So there we are. So that's the fun day session. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it's useful to someone. Bye for now.